weekends ago, I actually went home to watch the production put on by the performing arts program that I was in while I was in high school. While I was there, I got the sad news that the program might actually be defunded. So, before I go more in depth with this, I should probably explain to you guys how my high school works, because it was set up kind of funny in a way that they had learning communities that they called cores. In these cores, 2 of them that were presented were Nueva, which is based on visual and performing arts, which is actually the one that I was a part of. And there's also the Access STEM Academy, which was based on engineering and kind of aided to kids who wanted to do something that was more science and math involved. So there's actually like 7 other cores that were a part of my high school, but I'm talking about these 2 because these are actually California Partnership Academies. So a California Partnership Academy, as defined by the California Board of Education, is a smaller learning community with a career theme that focuses on rigorous academics, a career technical education, a career focus, a committed team of teachers, and active business and post-secondary partnerships. Basically what this means is that you're enriching your education not just academically, but also with extracurriculars and project-based learning. So this is accomplished through internships, working with industry professionals, field trips, and as I mentioned before, project-based learning instead of traditional style learning. Currently, there's 409 CPAs, and 135 of those are funded by Senate Bill 1070. So, before, this bill would originally go to the Chancellor's Office of Community Colleges, or CCCCO, and then a portion of those funds were to be sent to the California Board of Education so that they could fund CPAs. So in the bill, there's no requirement for any of this funding to go to any of the CPAs. So research done by the National Center for Educational Statistics in 1999 said the kids who are involved in extracurricular activities are less likely to have unexcused absences, they ditch class less often, they're expected to earn a bachelor's degree or higher, have a 3.0 GPA or above, and they also score higher in math and reading assessments. So most kids know that extracurricular activities are a thing and they see the benefits are prevalent, but minorities and kids who live in places of poverty are least likely to be a part of these programs because they don't always have the resources necessary to participate in them. So this could be because they don't have the financial ability to pay for expenses that come along, or sometimes they don't have the time commitment that it takes after school to do it. Joe Bowler of Stanford University also conducted a study in 2002 that put 2 British secondary schools against each other. She taught one in a traditional-based manner and one in a project-based manner. Once these schools were tested on mathematics, it was said that the schools who learned with project-based teaching actually did better on all the tests than the kids who learned traditionally. Jane L. David, who is the director of the Bay Area Research Group, says that the problem with this is that most teachers know the benefits of project-based learning, but teachers aren't trained to be project-based teachers. CPAs actually provide a perfect solution to both of these problems. So admittance to the programs are prioritized to students who are considered at risk. By law, 50% of students who are enrolled in CPAs have to have at least 3 of the 6 criteria that David Stern at Berkeley defines as at-risk behavior in students. These 6 criteria are: they have a poor attendance, they are behind in credits, they have low motivation for school, they are economically disadvantaged, they have low state test scores, and they have a low GPA. So not only do these programs target students who need help academically, but because of the fact that federal funding comes from the bill, these programs come to them at no extra cost. Most of the extracurricular activities also happen within the class period, so it requires no outside school commitment. The curriculum also is based on projects which you do that are academic and career oriented. So teachers who aren't necessarily trained to be project-based teachers will go to CPAs that are considered demonstration CPAs and learn how the teachers who are successful implement these projects. I'm very familiar with this project, or with this process, because my program was actually considered a demonstration program. So we would have these things called demonstration days where a ton of other people would come from CPAs and would watch how we learned in our classroom, and then there'd be a select panel of students who would talk to all these people that came in, and they would talk to them about how the implementation works and why project-based learning works for kids who are in these programs. So I'm very familiar with the process because I was very involved with demonstration days. In an article written by Charles Dayton at Cal Berkeley, there was an evaluation of CPAs done in 2009 and to 2010, where they saw that students who were involved in CPAs were actually passing the CASI exam at higher rates. The amount of seniors who graduated on time was a 95% rate instead of the state rate, which was an 85%. And then students who applied for UCs met their criteria at a 57% rate instead of the state rate, which is 36%. So if these programs continue to be funded, the numbers could potentially increase as more programs are added in and as the programs that are pre-existing mature and develop their teaching methods and how they work. All these programs are also career-oriented, so it kind of gives a leg up on students who are planning to do something right after high school, whether it be going to college or going straight into the work world. There's a lot of different types of professions that go into these programs. It's not just visual and performing arts or engineering. So there's pre-med, there's humanities, there's all kinds of things. So kids have the chance to sort of dive into these professions before actually making a full-on commitment, like going to a four-year university with your major right away after high school. So you get the chance to sort of experience something that you might be kind of curious about but aren't yet sure with. So, and then if you are 100% sure that this is what you want to do, you get to go to college or the work world knowing that you already have a hands-on experience on the career and the profession. And since every single one of us goes to a university where our motto is learn by doing, I think we all can say that we benefit from hands-on experience rather than just talking. So cuts are set to be put in place by July 30th, 2017, but you can help stop these cuts if you write a letter to one of these 4 Senate members. If you're more interested in this, you can feel free to come talk to me about the information and how to format the letter that you would send to them. So just come and ask me if you're more interested in that. I was very fortunate to have this program at my high school, especially because I don't necessarily live in a very populated town or a very poverty-filled town. I actually come from a town in a county that is known as one of the least affordable counties in the Bay Area. So I'm very privileged in more than one sense. But if you look at the list of where all these CPAs are located, it's very evident that they're strategically placed in places of poverty where the line is about 20% or more, or are really populated areas where students might not get noticed if they don't get the extra help. So I owe a lot to this program, and I was never even really considered an at-risk student. So it kind of breaks my heart to think that some kids who would actually really benefit from this program might never get the chance to experience it, and I think that it should ignite something